Good day, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Honest Conversations about Health. My name is Dr. Ashby, Curlita Lewis Ashby. I am a board certified lifestyle medicine physician. I am coming to you in conversation about high blood pressure today. A question that comes up very often is, what can I take for blood pressure? This question comes up whether people are on medication already and the blood pressure is still high, or maybe they have high blood pressure and haven't started medication yet and want to know what they can take for high blood pressure. Before we go too deep into this conversation, realize that these educational videos are for your information only. They're not meant to treat or diagnose medical conditions on the internet. And for any medical questions specifically about your health condition, you should always consult your own healthcare provider or physician. And to dive into this topic today, we have to recognize that blood pressure as an issue is very common. Over half of the American adult population with cardiovascular disease has high blood pressure. Among Black men, 58% of Black men suffer from high blood pressure. So it's a very silent and very chronic background condition that when it finally rears its ugly head, comes with many complications like kidney failure, problems with the eyes, stroke, and even heart attack. In fact, high blood pressure is called the silent killer because it makes the complications from high heart disease, for example, much more deadly. So if someone's having a heart attack, but they suffer from high blood pressure, it's most likely that their event may be complicated and lead to death. Same thing with strokes. When these occur in the setting of very high blood pressure, they tend to be very deadly. Let's talk about this question. What can I take for blood pressure? I want to peel back this onion because the problem of blood pressure isn't an issue of a missing item, a missing supplement, or a missing medication, or a missing tip. We often approach these complex lifestyle issues with the supplement mindset because we've been trained to put a pill on a problem. But when it comes to high blood pressure and other chronic conditions, these are complex, lifestyle related often, not all the time. There are some cases where blood pressure is purely related to the way someone's blood vessels anatomy is made. But I'm talking about the most common scenario where blood pressure evolves, becomes high over decades, and slowly comes on and continues to progress over those decades. The lifestyle related high blood pressure. So, why is there a problem with the question, what can I take for my blood pressure? Because it happened not because something was missing all those years, but because other things were being added that were contributing to the high blood pressure. So when we're 40 years in and the pressure is high, it's not a tip of a supplement that is going to fix it. It's going to be scaling back the different layers that led to it accumulating and stiffening the blood vessels to begin with. Let's see what that might look like. I do have patients who manage to reduce or even reverse their high blood pressures of over 10, 20, and even 30 years. How do they do it? Well, these people realize that to scale back pressure, we have to heal and render softer the lining of the arteries. You see, the high blood pressure is an issue of stiffening of the arteries in the setting of inflammation, sometimes plaque deposition over time that increase the pressure in the system. So if we do activities that lead to reduced plaque overall, like reducing weight, if we reduce inflammation, if the body gets healthier overall, the lining of the arteries get healthy, then the pressure naturally reduces. This happens time and time again with clients who decide to take a serious look at how they got where they are and to begin to reverse engineer their disease. So asking the question, what can I take for blood pressure, misses the entire point of how one got to have high blood pressure to begin with. It wasn't a missing supplement. It wasn't missing hibiscus tea. It wasn't missing garlic, though those two things do help a little bit. But by themselves, they cannot change the physiology of stiffened, hardened arteries that have established and that will stay and maintain the pressure high in the system. So what to do? Those who are serious about reducing blood pressure need to realize that the healing begins with consistent nutrition for at least 90 days. It may be a little bit daunting to think of 90 days, but think of 21 days to begin with and then extend from there. Why do we say consistent nutrition? High blood pressure is a progressive condition that responds to progressive scaling back. So you may begin to see improved blood pressure with a meal plan that has good lean protein, lots of vegetables. When I say lots, I mean 2 to 3 cups of vegetables and healthy fats. Very little carbohydrates because, in fact, bread is one of the sources of salt which contributes to high blood pressure. Most people don't know or realize that. The bread that they're eating sometimes contains 200 milligrams of salt. Salt is one of the drivers of lifestyle-related blood pressure. It's not the only one, but it's a main one to address. How to address it? You can substitute a salt with potassium chloride. This is the no salt substitute. So instead of salt, which is sodium chloride, trying potassium chloride can be both helpful in terms of reducing the salt and helpful in terms of putting in something that's missing, which is potassium chloride. Now, potassium chloride does relax the arteries, and it's one drop in the bucket of tools that improve blood pressure. So in our consistent 90-day nutrition, one small but important detail would be to exchange our excessive salt for potassium chloride. Potassium chloride will season and taste like salt, except in your body, in the system, it adds something that is often deficient, which is the potassium, and it also relaxes the blood vessels. That's the first thing. Consistent nutrition that is healing to the lining of the blood vessel. Let me add that in addition to knowing that your blood pressure is high, checking it during that 90-day period is important because changes can begin within the first week of two of improving the quality of the nutrition. So checking the blood pressure daily for the first 20 days would be advisable. What's a good blood pressure? Ideally, a goal of less than 120 over less than 80 or less than 70 would be ideal. But wherever you start, keep track of the numbers and check it every day. When to check? In the morning, usually before the hustle and bustle of the day begins, in a relaxed sitting position, and with the legs uncrossed, resting the arm that's getting tested, and checking your value. As long as you use the same automated machine, it's okay. And this can be tested at the stores as well, Walgreens or Walmart. So daily blood pressure checks at home and consistent nutrition for at least 21 days, ideally 90 days. That includes a protein, 3 vegetables, and a healthy fat. A protein is something like lean fish, meat like lean chicken, fish, or your plant protein. And a healthy fat would be half an avocado or a couple of teaspoons of olive oil. These two actions alone would be more beneficial to someone serious about reducing their blood pressure than spending money on garlic pills and hibiscus tea, although those things would be helpful as well. The other major opportunity for improving blood pressure is in movement, and the movement benefits happen over months to years. This is where we really get into softening the lining of the arteries. These are the pillars of improving blood pressure over time. There is no quick fix or supplementation. All of these tips and tools work together, and you guide it with the nutrition. This habit of asking for an isolated tip keeps people from focusing on their problems and kicks the can down the road to address or solve the problem later. In this episode of Honest Conversations about Health, I hope you gain some insight on what the best approach is to high blood pressure over time. It's not a quick fix. It's a consistent nutritional approach that may or may not include some supplementation, but the backbone of the strategy is to lower weight if there's excess weight, to improve nutrition in a way that is heart healthy, and to reestablish the health of the lining of the arteries so they're not so stiff and keep the blood pressure high in the system. I hope you found this conversation helpful. For more information on how you can reach me, go to lifestylemedicinesarasota.com. As always, stay healthy.